Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Unless he decides to challenge the ruling of the appeals court, which recently upheld his conviction, Senior Superintendent of Police Anthony Castelle, who was found guilty of misconduct in a public office for an incident in which he shot and injured a pregnant woman, will not only lose his job as a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, but could face jail time if he does not pay a $1 million fine. Castelle was convicted for the unlawful wounding of Janice Hines, who was a passenger in a taxi which was chased and fired on by the senior policeman and a junior officer in 2016. The taxi operator had disobeyed an order to stop and drove away, prompting the chase. After being found guilty, Castelle was fined $1 million or 30 days imprisonment and was then admonished and discharged. Castelle, who joined the force in 1980 and was slated to retire this year, appealed the conviction, which was upheld in the appeal court, which made him liable to honor the terms of the guilty conviction. In a report from Indicom, which was integral to the prosecution of the case against Castelle, the following was stated. When the verdict was announced, SSP Castelle appeared to have collapsed whilst seated in the dock. He was subsequently rushed to hospital. According to the facts outlined in court, on May 18, 2016, the officers who were pursuing a taxi discharged their firearms at the moving vehicle, as the driver had previously disobeyed the police's command to stop. It was subsequently discovered that a female passenger in the rear seat of the taxi had been shot and injured. Interestingly, the district constable who was implicated in the shooting was freed on a no-case submission, as the court ruled that there was no case for him to answer regarding the injury to the pregnant woman. The JCF has a rule against firing at moving vehicles. Section 103 of the Force Order states that firearms should not be discharged at a moving vehicle simply because it has failed to stop or to immobilize the vehicle. In this edition of Lest You Forget, we will be revisiting that incident from a story I wrote which was published on January 25, 2016 under the headline, Shot Pregnant Woman Recovering in Hospital. Janice Hines, the 21-year-old pregnant St. James woman who was shot and seriously injured when the police reportedly opened fire on the taxi in which she was traveling last Friday morning, is now in a stable condition in hospital and is able to communicate with family members. She is coming on good, but the gunshot is near her liver, so they can't take it out, said Neville Hines, the injured woman's distraught father. The medical people will be doing some tests on her to decide what to do next. We are just hoping and praying that she will be okay. According to reports, shortly after 8:30 a.m. on Friday, Hines and other passengers were traveling in a taxi towards downtown Montego Bay, where the driver of the car was signaled to stop by officers from the Transport Authority. They, along with a senior police officer and a district constable, were conducting a spot check along the Westgate Main Road in the Western City. The driver reportedly disobeyed an order to stop and increased his speed as the police vehicle with the two officers on board gave chase. After careening in and out of traffic for several minutes, the taxi reportedly crashed into another vehicle and came to an abrupt stop. According to reports, the two policemen alighted from their vehicle and shots were fired at the taxi. During the shooting, Hines was hit in the back. The driver and the other passengers, which included 3 children, escaped unhurt. Hines was rushed off to hospital, where she was admitted in serious condition. The driver of the taxi, whose identity the police have refused to reveal, was then subsequently arrested and charged. A police source told the Gleaner that the charges include dangerous driving and disobeying the police. The Independent Commission of Investigation, Indicom, which has since commenced an investigation of the incident, has reportedly seized the firearm of both the senior superintendent and the district constable. They have also interviewed the other passengers. It is unclear as to whether or not they spoke to the injured Hines. While the injured woman's father, who is also a taxi operator, is delighted that she is now able to communicate and appears to be recovering, other family members and friends are worried about the status of her unborn child, especially on account of the medication that she has been given to ease her pain and aid her recovery. Efforts to get the police's version of the incident proved futile, as none of the personnel contacted by the Gleaner was willing to speak on the record, except to say that the Bureau of Special Investigation and the Inspectorate of Constabulary have joined INDECOM in investigating the incident. During Castelle's trial, Hines, who had since had her baby, stated the following: "I heard sirens from behind, and I looked through the back glass and saw a white Jeep with a blue siren on, and then the driver started to drive faster. After that, the car I was in started to climb the Mount Salem hill when I heard explosions from behind." While Hines has now moved on with her life, Castelle is now facing an uncertain future. In looking back at that incident, it was definitely one of those unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Subscribe for more irresistible contents.